All right, team. Step number 2, bringing you star presidential leader Maddie Morton from Las Vegas and ambassador leader Mr. John Melton from Maryland.
Yes, sir.
Guys, attitude. My mom said attitude is everything. You know, we used to answer the phones in the early days where attitude is everything, and when you get going fast, it actually sounded like we were saying we're out of everything. And so we had to change that, but you can't ever be out of a good attitude, because a good attitude sets the tone for your life. We're not just talking about business, but we're talking about relationships. We're talking about the fact that you can't control what happens to you. You can't control what happens in your business, but you can control your attitude towards that. And with that, setting the tone, let's start ladies first.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, Maddie, give us any insight, wisdom on how you're like always positive. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, positive attitude is literally everything in this business. You know, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're 100% right. So you have to realize that you really attract who you are into this business, not really who you want to be. So you always have to be the most positive, uplifting person, because you don't know what people are going through. And once again, you know, the positive attitude is, you know, really everything. Definitely.
It affects so many things in your every day occurrences. John, how do you stay positive? What advice do you give, especially when you're talking to the newest person? I mean, they've got this action plan open on their app. They're watching this. They're saying, give me some advice, some coaching on why I need to put such a priority on my attitude.
Well, I mean, first of all, nobody wants to hang out with a negative Nelly, right? Nobody's going to be interested in your business if you're not excited about it, right? You know, some people say, well, I'm really excited about Vemma, you know, I'm going to take it to the top, but you can't tell, right? They seem like they're stressed, or they seem like it's, you know, something they're struggling with. So you got to be upbeat, you got to be positive, you got to have the right mindset. You're starting a business, right? And, you know, there's some people that have a lot of success, and there's some people that fail miserably, and a lot of that has to do with attitude and mindset, for sure.
Well, you know, one of the things that I've always been taught is that when things happen to you in your business, don't take those things to your team, take them to your upline. Yep. Why is that? Why is that important?
Positives down, negatives up. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I learned over 10 years
and when we say negatives up, I mean, it's life, it's business.
Sure.
Things, you know, when you're dealing with business, when you're dealing with people, things come up.
Absolutely.
And it's important that you work to solve them rather than to enhance them.
Yeah.
And so
what's the solution? Find the solution when you're having a problem.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for finding that solution
Sure.
for me there.
There you go.
But when it's talking attitude, I mean, you know, one of the things that you need to remember is, you know, I was raised by wonderful parents that paid me to read books. When I was a kid, you know, the first book I ever read was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. I got $10 to do a book report on that. It's important, or what was my parents thought it was very important for me to have some positive input. You know, there's so many negative things. The news channel 24/7. You know, and if 24/7 isn't enough about negative news, they've got a ticker tape along the bottom and on the side, bringing more negative at the same time. I mean, it's like bombarded.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah. How important is it to bring some balance? And what do you use? What do you listen to? What do you read to be able to keep your attitude in check?
Well, I definitely think it's a big deal to stay plugged into, you know, weekly calls. You know, go to the events in your marketplace, especially when there's bigger events. You know, stay plugged into what your upline is doing. I know a lot of the leaders, you know, do videos and they do conference calls and webinars, so there's so much to plug into. And in addition to that, you know, there's a lot of personal growth material out there that we recommend as leaders for you to read and listen to, because you got to feed your mind in order for you to go out into the marketplace with that positive attitude that you need to be successful. It just makes sense that you need to feed your mind all the time.
Well, you know, besides just the personal development aspect of it, which, you know, some of my favorites, Darren Hardy, you know, Jim Rohn, the classic, Anthony Robbins. In fact, if you ever get a chance to go to an Anthony Robbins event, I mean, you're going to have a couple thousand, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people that are excited and motivated about life. I mean, whatever the investment is, you're not only investing in yourself, but you can also write it off on your taxes because you're able to, you know, go there and prospect and talk about your business and meet some people.
And they don't even have a comp plan.
They don't. It's just all personal. It's just all personal development. But you know, one of the big points that I wanted to be able to drive home is the fact that you need to bring balance in your life. when it comes to personal development. You need to be having that constant input, whether it's going to YouTube. One of the things that I love is if you go to vemmavideos.com, you can see profiles on these little Vemma films on some of our most successful affiliates out there. You can go to YPR Radio and listen to young people succeeding and hearing about what is working for them, what isn't working for them. I mean, you really need to become a student of success. And I know, did you just graduate?
One more year.
One more
Next
year.
year
So,
graduating,
talk to us a little bit about developing that mindset of being a student of success, studying, understanding that success leaves clues and you just got to go find them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it all goes back to discipline. I learned from school, time management really helped me a lot, and just always being positive. I mean, every single one of us, we're busy, we have busy schedules, but once again, you have to have that positive mindset and really, visualize yourself succeeding. I do this all the time. Visualize yourself becoming that six-figure earner and, grasp that emotion. Okay, really feed yourself that emotion, because that's going to propel you when you have the bad days. Because we're going to get, negative stuff, is going to come into our mind, but you have to feel that emotion and turn it into a positive to really help you through every little, thing that you're going to struggle with in this business.
That future pacing of visualizing yourself. Of all the creatures on earth, humans are the only ones that have the power of visualization, where they can see themselves somewhere in the future. And when I was a distributor years ago, I wanted a new home, and I actually went to a model home and took my shoes off and scrunched my toes in the carpet and sat down in the furniture. Other people would walk in and go, "Hey, great to see you guys. Thanks for coming by." I just had fun with it. And if your dream is to be driving a new car, go out. They actually let you test drive cars.
Yeah.
They actually, you
know.
go to a dealership, and if you ask the salesperson very nicely, they will take a picture of you in the car. But I mean, smell the leather, feel the steering wheel, and the sound of the engine. That should get your engine running. And so whatever your goals are, make sure that you're visualizing it, because it does wonders for your attitude. Any last words of wisdom on attitude before we go to the next step?
Yeah, you also have to be consistent. You definitely want to be consistently positive. Some people are really hot one week, and then the next week they're not returning calls, they're not reaching out to anybody, and they can't figure out.
It erases the week of you being positive. If you're not doing something consistent and positive every day to move your business forward, you're erasing the work that you've done. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, being consistent is so huge in this business. A lot of my success over the years has been from just consistently talking to people, consistently plugging into the system, consistently working with my mentor. And if you're consistent, eventually it's going to work out. You're going to have success. It's just inevitable.
And one of the things that I understand, and it happens to everybody, is there's days, there's times that we just don't feel like acting or thinking positive. Whatever's happening to you in life, you're just like, man, I am not feeling. When you have one of those days, understand that's what we pay you for. We pay you to be positive. We pay, it's a decision. No matter what happens to you in life, you're making a decision on how you're going to approach it. And nobody has permission to give you a bad attitude than yourself. I mean, bad stuff happens to everybody. But you know what, the amount of stuff that I put up with in a day just from being a corporate owner. Yeah. Sure. But you talk to me, man, I'm going to be up. I don't care what's happening behind the scenes. My dad used to say, you got to be like a duck. You're calm on the surface and you paddle like hell underneath the water there. That is what you need to understand, that true leadership. And hopefully when you're studying how to be a great affiliate, you're also understanding that having a great attitude is a huge part of being a great leader, because people are going to look to you to recharge them. They're going to look to you to inspire them. And when you talk to anybody that's a Vemma elite, I mean, their attitudes are always great when they're talking with their teams, and that is one of the biggest reasons why they're a Vemma elite. So no matter what your day is like, remember this, that you're the one that gives yourself permission to have a good attitude, or you give yourself permission to have a bad attitude. It's a choice.
Yep.
It is just 100%. A choice. Any last words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So just have that positive mental attitude, and we're excited for the future.
That's it. Hey, man, we are off to the next step. Step number 3, guys, keep up the great work. Study success. Success leaves clues. And here's the most important thing, you can do this business. How's that for a good attitude?
I love it.
All right,
Let's
guys.
do it.
Thank you very much.